Good evening, one and all. We welcome you all to the International Webinar Series on Holistic Health, Well-being and Sustainable Development 2024, commemorating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, nation celebrating 77 years of independence, and United Nations Sustainable Development Goals 2015 to 2030 as part of awareness and campaigns in collaboration with Sri Holistic Health Foundation India and Sri Research Institute Center for Art, Sciences and Wellbeing. Before we start our sessions, let's take the blessings of Almighty.
कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः
With the blessings of Almighty, we shall continue with today's commemorations. Today, we are commemorating German Language Day. It is one of the longest words in German and something to consider on National German Language Day, which occurs on every September 14th. It is something like Rindfleisch, Scheidketter, Rang, Superwatch, Shang, Saf, Gaben, Betrag, Gangsters. Pardon me, definitely it is not our language, so the pronunciation would be different from what exactly it is pronounced, because I am not a German speaker. So something like that. So it's the entire thing is just one word. That is the longest word in one of the longest words in German. May seem like gibberish to non-German language speakers. Actually, this word, which we won't even attempt to pronounce, is now absolute. It translates as Beef Labeling Monitoring Delegation Act. And yet another, we mourn its loss. It's no longer used. So German is the language of poets, Bertolt Brecht, Rainer Maria Rilke, and the classic Weimar cinema. To promote the language and encourage more people to learn it, the German Language Association, VDS, created this day 17 years ago, helping to revive the speaking of German across the globe. The first recorded use of German historical records reveal that ancient Romans were in contacts with German speakers in 1st century BC, and Luther translates the Bible into German, providing a people's alternative to the dominance of Latin in 1522. So, directed by Wolfgang Petersen, this German classic earned fame all over the world in 1981, and the German Language Association BDS celebrated this day for the first time, embarking on an endeavor to promote the German language worldwide in 2001. So, learning German can be a whole lot of fun, especially when you actually get a chance to use it on a European trip. But if you can't travel to Germany right here in the United States, there are German pastry shops or bookstores where you can try out what you have learned. Even now, online also, you can speak to German pals. Even an English translation will do because the more you read, the more you will learn. National German Language Day is also a great day to watch some classic German horror films like Nosferatu, The Cabin of Dr. Caligari, and so on. So, this is an excuse today to learn about German. So, by ranking, there are most widely spoken languages in the world. Chinese encompassing both Mandarin and Cantonese. English, Hindi, Urdu, Spanish, Russian, and German. It's also most widely spoken language. In Europe, German is the language of writers and thinkers. Goethe, Schiller, Brecht, Marx, Goethe, great thinkers, all were masters of German language. German and English are sister languages. Both languages are part of West Germanic languages. German and English have greatly influenced each other's cultures, and sometimes there's also a little sibling rivalry. Unlike English, German has three genders: masculine, feminine, and neutral. If that's hard to wrap up your mind and then your mouth around some languages, like Polish, you have six grammatical genders. German has some funny proverbs. Dash ist nicht dein Bett translates as that's not your beat. But what it really means is this is none of your business. Stay out. So German is most widely spoken language in Europe, spoken by 95 million people worldwide. German is the native language of Germany, Austria, Switzerland, and Liechtenstein. Plus, it's fascinating when one German word contains 80 letters. In a world where English is becoming the go-to language on the international stage, individual countries are working hard to maintain their own lingua franca. Reviving the German language is also an attempt to preserve the culture and history of Germany. But if you want to learn contemporary German, watch German television on National German Language Day. So, if German children living outside Germany, learning and speaking their mother tongue is one of the most important ways they can connect to their culture and heritage. It's also added a set to be bilingual or trilingual in today's international business climate. Today is also commemorated as Gobstopper Day in US. Gobstoppers, popularly known as jawbreakers, are hard, normally round, delicious candy with layers and layers of sweetness. And it's a better time to reminisce about the childhood goodness of these candies than on Gobstopper Day. This day is celebrated annually and people get to relax, enjoy everything related to gobstoppers and, of course, the candies themselves. The term gobstopper derives from gob, which is slang in the United Kingdom and Ireland for the mouth. The sweet was a favorite among British schoolboys in the first half of the 20th century. The origins of the gobstopper can be traced back to ancient Egypt, where sweets were created using natural ingredients such as likes of fruits, nuts, and seasonings. By the 1500s, the manufacturing of sweets had begun on a small scale, with all products created by hand. However, in the 1700s, machinery was being introduced in a larger scale confectionery companies to create more interesting and unique sweets, such as gobstopper. Gobstoppers are made by slowly depositing layers onto a core, such as pressed ball of sugar or a gum ball. It takes several weeks to manufacture as the process of adding liquid sugar is repeated a lot of times. Gobstoppers have been sold in traditional sweet shops for at least a century, often sold by weight from jars during the years between World War I and II. Gobstoppers were popular candies in the United Kingdom and the Americas. Roald Dahl used the name in 1964 book Charlie and the Chocolate Factory when he created the everlasting gobstopper, which is the first manufactured by Breaker Confections before being purchased by Nestle. Everlasting gobstoppers were sold under Nestle Willy Wonka Candy Company brand. It was first introduced in 1976 by Breaker Confections. Today is also commemorated as National Coloring Day in US, which is an annual event celebrated every year on September 14th. Following behind National Coloring Book Day in August, National Coloring Day expands the experience into lots of artsy mediums. As a stress reducer, coloring isn't just for kids anymore. Whether it's been decades or merely days, National Coloring Day is all about setting aside some time for ourselves to well color. Get creative with the paper, crayons, and colored pencils or markers. Try oil pastels and paint. On National Coloring Day, let your imagination fly into a coloring world and brighten up your day. Whether you like crayons, colored pencils, pens, or permanent markers, they are supplied somewhere with your name on them. Grab your favorite materials and sit down with some paper or a coloring book. If you don't have one, go online to download and print free coloring pages at home. People love parties, and you can share the joys of coloring with all your friends on National Coloring Day. But some colored pencils, a coloring book with perforated pages, and spread them out on any flat surface. Share the colored pencils and socialize while you work. It's unfortunate that over the past decade, schools are experiencing reduced budgets for their fine arts programs. On National Coloring Day, make a difference by donating color supplies to your school arts program. Many libraries also offer after school activities, and thanks to your generous donation, coloring might just become one of the children's favorite activities. It might seem that adult coloring suddenly became popular out of nowhere, but it's widely known that coloring is a profoundly beneficial hobby. The activity of coloring is both creative and repetitive, allowing your mind to get absorbed in what they are doing. So coloring promotes wellness. It might seem like adult coloring suddenly became and it might seem like adult coloring suddenly became popular out of nowhere, but it's widely known that color is profoundly beneficial hobby. The activity of coloring is both creative and repetitive, allowing your mind to get absorbed in what you are doing and let some of these high-level cognitive functions take a break. Coloring is also wordless, which lets your linguistic process take a breather too. All those health benefits aside, coloring is really enjoyable unto itself. As you relax and start coloring, you can practically feel your creativity flowing faster. All your daily intrusive thoughts start to lighten up. Coloring provides a wonderful getaway experience. National Coloring Day doesn't exclude coloring books. Instead, this day calls on us to get creative by trying new mediums and to color outside those lines. So go one further, apply this idea to other parts of life. Today is also commemorated as National Cream Filled Bun Donut Day on September 14th in US. Once you bite it, that's just right. It will be clear why these special donuts deserve their own day. One of the famous cream filled donuts in Boston Cream Donut, named for its resemblance of Boston cream pie. This donut is a butter cake filled with rich vanilla flavored custard, deep fried, even given a layer of chocolate glaze. And not only does it look appetizing, but the taste is just as. Today is also commemorated as National Eat a Hoagie Day in US, which is celebrated on every year on September 14th. A hoagie is a type of submarine sandwich or a long bread roll filled with cheese and veggies. Whether you can call submarine sandwiches subs, torpedoes, grinders, heroes, bombers, or submarines, these heavyweight sandwiches will always be crowd favorite. Today is also commemorated as National Food is Medicine Day in US. Health and food organizations use the day to raise awareness about the barriers to good food in US. The campaign points out many low-income families always have to deal with. obstacles that make it difficult for them to get healthy foods they need. The goal of bringing these challenges to the forefront on National Food is Medicine Day is to generate innovators to encourage government and private sector entities to collaborate or developing solutions that make it simpler for more people to get healthy food. Malnutrition is a threat that is getting worse quickly. It is a global problem on the same level as poverty and climate change. The World Committee on Food Security has said malnutrition in all its forms, including hunger, lack of micronutrients, overweight, and obesity, is a major problem not only in developing countries but also in developed countries. Malnutrition includes everything from starvation to being overweight. The main causes of the global burden of the disease today are poor diets and the healthy risks that come with. Diets that aren't very good either don't have even enough of certain vitamins, minerals, and fiber, or they do have many calories, saturated fat, salt, and sugar. In 2010, 10% of the world's disease burden was caused by unhealthy eating and lack of exercise, measured as a number of years lost due to ill health, disability, or early death. By 2015, six of the top 11 global risk factors, such as being undernourished, have a high bloody mass, high body mass index BMI, and having cholesterol were related to diet. Obesity is usually linked to eating too much, but it can also be caused by not getting enough of certain nutrients. Between 1990 and 2010, the number of adults in sub Saharan Africa with a high BMI tripled. Countries in the Pacific and the Caribbean, Middle East, and Central America all have very high rates of overweight and obese adults. So, all countries around the world need to take action to deal with undernutrition, lack of micronutrients, and overweight and obesity. At the same time, on National Food is Medicine Day, the Food Equality Initiative encourages people to join the movement by giving money to groups that help people get access to healthy food. Subsidizing the extra costs of gluten free food helps bring down medical costs, lower the risk of food related illness, and makes it easier for low income families to eat healthy on budget. Today is also commemorated as National Live Creative Day in US. Which was introduced in 2016 by an American company called Creative Promotional Products, founded in 1994 and located in Illinois. Chicago, the company provides full service promotional products to brands. They provide a wide range of services, which include brand awareness campaigns, custom decorated apparel, corporate and executive gifts, incentive programs, and printing services. Though an initiative called Live Creative, the company established the holiday to encourage people to live more creatively. The history of word creative traceable to the Latin word creo, which means to make it or create something. In the past, the word was used as an attribute that could only be ascribed to a divine creator, God. Moreover, during the time of ancient Greeks, creativity was not considered concept. However, the first to eventually apply the word creatively was a Polish poet who lived during the 17th century called Message Kazimierz Suborowski. However, he only used the word in relation to poetry. It wasn't until 1926 that Graham Walsh published a scholarly article identifying four stages of the creative process, which he classified as preparation or saturation, incubation, illumination, and verification. In modern times, creativity has become associated with out of the box thinking and ideas that stand out from the crowd. It's no longer limited to disciplines such as arts and literature, but applies to every aspect of life, be it in the workplace or even in the parenting. There are too many to list here, but one standouts is a willingness to be different and stand out of the crowd. The answer is every single one. Whatever your occupation is, creativity is required to bring a better to your craft. Creativity involves imagination while innovation requires implementation. Simply put, innovation is application of creativity. Deviate from your daily routine and do something different, whether you are at work or school at home. Just try to live up to your day. Think of an old hobby and rekindle the flame, rediscover that passion, share National Creative Day with others, tell others so that they create you as well. According to research, about 72% of people get creative insight while taking a shower. So, experiencing new things can make you more creative and are impactful. Research suggests that the subconscious mind, also known as institution, might be faster than our subconscious mind. Daydreaming enhances creative thinking, long term planning, and self awareness. Most genius ideas are ridiculed when they are first shared, so don't feel bad at a little discouragement. The greatest inventions were made because people dedicated to attempt the impossible. Without creativity, we wouldn't have cars and electricity and all the wonderful things in the world. Things of the last time you have experienced something that made you smile. It might have been reading a page turner or looking at a beautiful painting. Either way, creativity spreads happiness. A picture is worth 1,000 words. Being creative allows us to express ourselves even without saying a word. Today is also commemorated as National Sober Day, which was founded in 2019 by real aligned women who identify themselves as Sisterhood for Sobriety. This initiative is also sponsored by Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration. This day can be about renewing one's commitment to staying sober or marking the start of journey to get sober. Millions of people suffer from substance abuse, and this day reminds them that they are supported and they are not alone in their struggles. Alcohol is not only difficult to quit, but one of the most widely abused substances in the world. With many deaths attributing to it every year, alcohol has a long history in our society and has been a part of human culture for years. In the past, it was mainly made by fermenting grains, fruit juice, and honey. Evidence of fermented beverages can be found in ancient Chinese, Egyptian, and Indian histories. In these early societies, the beverage was consumed for a variety of reasons, for its nutritional value, as a pain reliever, and as part of religious ceremonies. During the 16th century, alcohol, specifically spirits, were considered medicinal. In the 18th century, Britain passed a law encouraging the use of grain for distilling spirits. The law led to the rise in the availability of cheap spirits. It spiked gin consumption, which reached 18 million gallons, and alcoholism became widespread. In the 19th century, there was a change of the mindset, and the temperance of the time pushed idea of moderation in alcohol consumption, which ultimately became a push for total prohibition. The US passed a law prohibiting the manufacture, sale, import, and export of intoxicating liquors. It resulted in a boom of illegal alcohol trading, forcing the cancellation of the prohibition of alcohol. Today, alcohol has no little nutritional sorry. Today's alcohol has little to no nutritional value. Medically, alcohol is only used as a solvent for water insoluble compounds. In most religious ceremonies, alcohol is merely symbolic. More than 17 million American adults are suffering from alcohol use disorder. Alcohol causes approximately 88,000 deaths a year, and 40% of all car accidental deaths in the US involve alcohol. The National Sober Day, let's all join hands to celebrate sober life and bring awareness to addiction. Today is also commemorated as National Virginia Day in US. Formerly, the Commonwealth of Virginia is a state of United States located between the Atlantic coast and the Appalachian Mountains in the mid-Atlantic and southeast areas. On this day, we look at the people, places, and flavors that existed long before European settlers arrived in Virginia. We also commemorate Virginia's history and all that is associated with Commonwealth. It is estimated that the people to settle in Virginia arrived 18,000 years ago. The history of area can be traced back to various indigenous groups, notably the Powhatan. The settlement of Jamestown, Virginia was established in 1607 by the London Company as the first permanent English colony in the United States. The Old Dominion, Virginia state nickname, is a tribute to this Persian. Slave labor and land taken from the dispatched native tribes powered the colony's booming plantation economy. But they also fostered internal and external tensions. It became part of United States in 1776 as one of the original 13 colonies during the American Revolution. During this year, Thomas Jefferson, another prominent Virginian, penned the Declaration of Independence. Virginia was split during the American Civil War when the state government in Richmond supported the Confederacy. Virginia succeeded from the Union or withdrew from what was then the United States in 1861. This occurred at the state of the Civil War, which was fought between the southern states that wished to leave the Union, such as Virginia and northern states. Despite this, many of the state's northern counties wanted to stay with the Union, resulting in the formation of West Virginia in 1860. In 1870, roughly 5 years after Civil War ended, Virginia rejoined the Union of the United States in 2007. Virginia marked the 400th anniversary of the founding of the Jamestown colony with a quadricentennial celebration. Native Americans, Africans, and Europeans all played a significant role in defining Virginia's history according to the commemorations. Today is also commemorated as Free Dental Day in US, which is observed on a date chosen by supported dentists and their team who is committed to helping people in the community get free dental care. This year it takes place on September 14. Dental health is a vital part of person's overall health, but it is unfortunate that due to financial reasons, most people don't have dental insurance. This day is usually a way for the dentist to give back to community and is usually a very busy day for them as their offices are usually swamped with patients waiting for their turn. Several services are offered on the day, including dental cleaning, filling, root canal extraction, implant placement and restoration, and oral cancer screenings. So dentistry is one of the oldest forms of medicine known to man, and it dates back to 7000 BC. But it wasn't until the 1700s that dentistry became a defined profession. Pierre Fauchard, who was known as the father of modern dentistry, published his book in 1723 titled The Surgeon Dentist. A treatise on teeth, the book helped to redefine an extensive system for treating, caring for health. He also established the use of dental prosthesis, the idea of dental fillings. He also made that one discovered that tooth decay is caused by acids from sugar. People have always known the importance of dental hygiene, and there is now increasing proof that good dental hygiene contributes significantly to overall well-being. Some oral examinations can help to detect about 100 different medical conditions, including oral cancer, diabetes, HIV, and leukemia. Free Dentistry Day started in 2010, and at that time, very few dentists were participating, but since then, the number of participating dentists have increased in size. Studies have shown that approximately 108 million Americans don't have the dental insurance, and so a lot of them lack the proper dental care, and they should be getting. It initially started as a means to help people who fall in the category by providing them with dental care at no cost for a whole day. Today is also commemorated as Farmers Consumer Awareness Day in US, which occurs on the second Saturday of September It's a holiday that is designated to give public a view into the lives of farmers. It usually hosted in Quincy, but has a national-wide appeal. The holiday offers wonderful insight into agriculture through a variety of fun activities. These include parades, fun runs, entertainment exhibitions, display of farm equipment, display of art and talents, tours of farming areas, and many others. It all began in 1981 when Paul Harvey was recounting an occurrence on the radio. It was about a woman who confronts the grocer about seeming high cost of food items. Knowing nothing about farming, she couldn't imagine the great and wonderful jobs that farmers did. Quincy farmer Dennis Higashiyama was listening that day, and he immediately took action. It wasn't apparent that most consumers were far separated from the farmers, and they have no idea where the food comes from. They do not know the work that goes into farming, and they do not know about the special people behind agriculture. Dennis Higashima thought of the way to bring farmer closer to the public. Hence, Farmers Consumer Awareness Day was brought to this effect. It was initiated out of desire to make the public see farmers as they truly are. The holiday has been successful in bringing people together to celebrate the importance of farmers, but it is also a very fun holiday, and several activities were added to the celebration. Humans begin to grow crops for food in 7000 BC. The earliest civilization of agriculture begins with Sumerians in 5500 BC. There is a widespread of crops and other cultural products available in 1492, and first Farmers Consumer Awareness Day, Dennis Higashiyama, organizes a celebration of agriculture where farmers and consumers are all present in 1981. So you can join main event organized in Quincy. If you are far away, you can visit a farm close to you and try to get some insight into farming. It is the farmers that plant and produce the food we eat. They are our heroes and they deserve respect and appreciation. You can easily do some research and start your own farm. It doesn't have to do anything big. There are millions of farmlands in the US, and estimated about 2 million farms in the US alone. Family farms account for more than 50% of the farm's produce. A single farmer can feed more than 150 people. The US is the third largest food supplier throughout the world. As the world population grows, so does the need for more farmers. Farmers are important. Farmers Consumers Day helps to create more awareness regarding the importance of farmers. Farming is fun. This celebration lets us to witness the joys of farming. Farming is very interesting. It is good to know the source of our groceries. Also, it is very interesting to hear from the farmers themselves. Today is also commemorated as Drive Your Studebaker Day in US. Which is marked every year on second Saturday of September. The Studebaker has long been regarded as the embodiment of a class as a result of its beauty, elegance, and sophistication. The Studebaker Corporation earned a reputation for quality, durability, and dependability, thanks to the timeless design and exceptional engineering detail. Drive Your Studebaker Day honors the impact of these incredible automobiles on automotive history and also provides an opportunity for the Studebaker's drivers all over the world to show off their Studebaker's cars, trucks, or even antique carriages. Although Studebaker Brothers Manufacturing Company was an American business founded in 1852 that focused on manufacturing wagons, buggies, and carriages, and horse harness. Its history dates back to when Peter Studebaker and his family docked on the shores of American frontier in 1736. They built the first Studebaker carriage in a makeshift factory besides their home and used it to travel as far as Rome, Brisbane, St. George, Charleville, and so many other places. The first Studebaker vehicle was a horse drawn wagon that had four wheels and a carriage front. Suspension to help the passengers stay comfortable through their ride. These horse drawn wagons became very instrumental as a means of transportation during the American Civil War. By 1902, Studebaker has begun to produce electrical vehicles, and by 1904, the gasoline vehicles had rolled out of production. The company enjoyed a lot of popularity for over 50 years as they consistently produced acquisition models of the Studebaker. Today is also commemorated as National Coding Week in US from September 14 to 20. It's time to bring coding and digital literacy to everybody is a fun and engaging way. Learning digital skills and gaining more knowledge about it helps us make sense of rapidly changing world around us. This week also encourages us to nurture increasingly essential coding expertise in order to close the skills gap in the United States. This makes for a difficult dynamic as 92% of the executives believe American workers are not as skilled as they need to be, yet inspired by the development of coding and computational thinking skills in order to explore new ideas and innovate for the future. The idea and grassroots movement of National Coding Week began in UK, founded by former head teacher Richard Rolfe and tech entrepreneur Jordan Love, who was appointed EU Code Week ambassador for the UK. It took place during the week of September. But what is coding and where it began? Coding is a process of using programming language to get a computer to behave the way we want it. Every line of code tells machines to do something. A document full of lines is a script which is designed to carry out a specific job to the computer. Ada Lovelace, Countess of Lace was an English mathematician and a writer who introduced many computer concepts during 1840s and is generally considered the first computer program. She spent 1842 and 1843 translating an article written by the famous mathematician Charles Babbage, who wanted to use changeable punch cards to store programs on his invention. The analytic engine, which was first computer, she predicted that one day the theoretical computer would be able to play music as well as chess, which came true. The programming language Ada is honorably named after her. The process of coding began in 1954 when the company Horrell formed what would one day evolve into International Business Machines. IBM gave birth to first ever high-level programming language when a team led by John Buckus invented formula translation. Fortran was originally developed for scientific and engineering programs. It is still used to this day. The programming language gave way to many other higher level ones modern programmers can now use now, such as HTML and C++. Coding is a language that is increasingly important for young people and adults to understand in the globalized world. It can be intimidating project, which means National Coding Week is a time to help people understand coding and its importance. So begin to learn to code or grow your skills by signing up for Code Academy is free and membership classes since its founding in 2011. Code Academy has sought not only to reinvent the online coding education space, but also to build first truly net native education system. Taking cues from modern tech innovators, Code Academy is rethinking education from the bottom up through an engaging educational experience that doesn't focus so heavily on the stage format found in most US classrooms. So give it a try and hone in one of some useful skills. A recent survey found 92% of executives think that American workers aren't as skilled as they need to be. As a result, nearly half, 45%, feel that they are missing out on growth opportunities, while 34% feel that product development is suffering. And 30% think that company profits are being hurt. Companies have to be either operate without certain skill sets that they really need or invest in training and upskilling their staff, which can be costly and time consuming endeavor, especially when considering the types of skills that are lacking. And they have been incredible programmers in American history who can made it what it is today. Learn about coders such as Dennis McAllister Ritchie, an American computer scientist who helped shape the digital era. He created the C programming language with longtime colleague Ken Thompson, the Unix operating system. The first programmer in the world was a woman named Ada Lovelace, who worked an analytical engine back in 1840s, the female power in programming. So recent studies have shown that over 70% of the coding jobs are fields outside of technology. The first computer virus was created in 1983, and the word computer bug was inspired by a real bug founded by Grace Hopper in 1947. The language, there are over 700 different programming languages, with the first called Fortran, created in 1950s. Learning to code has stunning cognitive related benefits such as problem solving, computational thinking, analytical thinking, leadership related skills, and even teamwork. Coding is good for our brains. Learning new skills such as coding can open new doors to people. We are increasingly moving into an online world, and that is important that people do not miss out on opportunities to develop these skills which have potential to create employment opportunities. One of the aims of this week is to encourage women to get involved in coding. And since women has a prominent role in the history of coding, this is a fantastic week to learn. Prominent businesswomen who work on the public digital projects such as Martha Lane Fox are working to help bridge the gender gap in technology. National Coding Week will help make generations of people more comfortable with coding, allowing them to embrace the business opportunities of the future. So with this, we shall conclude today's commemorations. Thank you everyone for joining us. We request everyone to quickly fill up the feedback form before you leave the platform. So see you all tomorrow. Tomorrow we have International Conference on Suicide Prevention. We request everyone to join and make your presentations and participation. Thank you everyone. Take care. Good night.